Hello guys, welcome to Informer. Please like this video and also subscribe our channel. I hope you will enjoy our today's story. I'm 51 years old and work as an assistant manager at a big warehouse. My wife is 54 and works as a real estate agent in Tampa, Florida. We've been married for 10 years since we met at a business conference. We both like traveling, going to the beach, and spending time with family. We also enjoy helping our community by volunteering at soup kitchens and organizing food drives. My wife is active socially and often hangs out with her friends. But sometimes I feel uncomfortable because she flirts a lot with men, especially those in charge. Once, at a real estate event, she was flirting with a developer, which bothered me. She said it was just part of her job, but I wasn't sure if she meant it. Later on, she started spending more time away from home with her friends, sometimes just for a few days at a time. There were 4 of them in her group, 2 married and 2 single. At least that's what she told me. I've always been the kind of person who trusts 100% until proven wrong. And that persisted in my attitude toward my wife as well. One evening after work, my wife gave me a call, mentioning that she intended to bring dinner home and inquiring about my meal preferences. However, I noticed that she had put me on speakerphone, and from the background noise, it appeared that there were 2 other women present in the car with her. During the conversation, one of the women exclaimed, "Hey, are you joining us for the Miami trip?" Caught off guard, I hesitated and directed a question to my wife, inquiring who is she speaking to. My wife clarified that the woman was addressing me. Despite my confusion, I responded, "No, I'll likely be occupied with work." Later, when my wife returned home, we engaged in a discussion concerning her uncommunicated plans to travel to Miami. Heated argument ensued between us, and during this conversation, she revealed that the decision to go to Miami was a last-minute one. She claimed that she was going to let me know about it, but her friend blabbed about it. My wife later told me that they had visited a bar where one of her friends had consumed too much alcohol. While working as a real estate agent, my wife often interacted with different people, explored different neighborhoods, actively participated in community activities, and offered help to others. However, as mentioned above, she enjoyed flirting. Her job as a real estate agent brought in an annual income of over $120,000. My own annual earnings hovered around $40,000, well below my wife's income. It's worth noting that her path to her current earnings was not a quick one. It took her several years to reach this level. She was getting ready to go to Miami, and she bought a bunch of new clothes even though she already had a lot. A few days later, she went to Miami, which is about 4.5 hours from Tampa. She planned to stay there for 4 days. But on the second day she was gone. When I came home from work, something strange happened. Around 7 in the evening, there was a loud knock on the door. A man in a serious suit was there, holding a big envelope. He knew my name and gave me the envelope, saying, "This is for you." After handing me the envelope, he left. Opening the envelope, I found a note with a contact phone number and the words, "Contact me if you would like to discuss the photos." My gaze fell on the first photo, which showed my wife sitting on a man's lap. His hands were on her back and they were engaged in a passionate kiss. It looked like they were in some kind of nightclub. Then a scene by the pool. In this shot, my wife and a man are kissing passionately in the pool. At this point, I decided to call the phone number listed on the note. In the course of the conversation, it turned out that the man was a private investigator. He was following one of the other wives, hired because of her husband's suspicion of infidelity. His job was to gather information about the client's wife's social circle. Upon further examination of the images, I came across 3 more photos that captured moments of undeniable intimacy between my wife and the same man. At that moment, a mix of anger, frustration, and heartache overwhelmed me. With tears welling up, I dialed my dad's number and recounted the recent events. In response, he advised me to first regain my composure and then strongly recommended that I avoid revealing anything to her. "I won't utter a word," I assured my father. I promised that I would act calmly. With only 1 day left before my wife returned for her trip, I held an online consultation with an attorney. During the consultation, I spoke frankly about the situation and told him that I had proof of my wife's infidelity. He said it's unfortunate, but in Florida, it doesn't matter. He explained that Florida is a no-fault state. Then he asked how long we'd been married. I told him it had been over 10 years. My plan was to hire a lawyer the next day but act normal at home. After she came back, I secretly made 2 new online accounts, one for deposits and one for general use. The next morning, my wife came back, messing up my plan because she had 2 days off. so I had to wait. On the third day, she went back to work, and I followed her out of the house. While she was gone, I contacted my father and asked Kenny to lend me some money to pay my attorney fees, to which he agreed. I paid a lawyer and instructed him to start divorce proceedings, citing irreconcilable differences as the reason. After that, I packed my things and with the help of my father, I moved most of my possessions to his apartment in his truck. However, at that time, I had not yet moved in with him. I wanted to stay until she was officially served with divorce papers. 2 weeks go by, and to my amazement, no one has informed her. Another week goes by, and my wife is served with divorce papers while she is at her workplace. Following this, my phone started receiving messages from her, what is going on, etc. That day, I was at home when my ex-spouse from Sunny B called me. Since I didn't trust her, I asked my dad to come over. He arrived just before she did. When she came in, she immediately asked why I wanted a divorce. I showed her some pictures that explained why. She was shocked and started crying, saying sorry, but I was already done with her. I told her we'd settle things in court. After that, she kept calling and texting me, wanting to try marriage counseling. But when it came to the divorce hearing, she hired a lawyer to fight against it. My attorney conducted a strong defense, which resulted in the case ending favorably for me. I ended up receiving $60,000 in equity from the subsequent sale of the house, as well as $9,900 per month in spousal support for 3 years. We split the furniture, but I decided to give it to her. About a month later, I found out that my ex-wife had cheated on me before. But I didn't know it. One of her close friends had long considered telling me about my wife's cheating, but felt it was none of her business. She later expressed regret for not telling me about it and apologized to me. However, I said that if I had known about the affair then, I probably would not have been married to her for 10 years. 8 months have passed since my divorce, during which time my ex-wife sends me text messages almost every week, wondering how I'm doing. However, I have decided not to respond to them. I chose not to change my phone number just because I chose not to respond. It's my choice to decide what to do. Even though she said her kids liked me in one of her messages, I still didn't reply. I still feel sad about what happened, but I'm fortunate to have supportive friends who don't bring it up. I'm working on healing and have started seeing a therapist. Even though it hurts, I believe I'll be okay eventually. Second story is my husband 26M of 5 years cheating on me 24F. My husband, who I've been married to for 5 years, got caught looking for single women on Reddit in our city. He's very protective of his phone, taking it everywhere, even to the shower and sleeping with it under his pillow. He hardly ever wants to connect to Apple CarPlay when we're in the car together and always asks me to connect my phone instead. When I asked him about it because I found women's photos saved on his phone, he first said he was talking to them because he thought they were scammers and it would be funny. But when I kept asking, he said he was actually looking for me on Reddit. Even though we generally have a good relationship, there are things he's done before that broke my trust. He's messaged women outside of his industry on LinkedIn, even talking about personal stuff like where he grew up. He's also been flirting with a female coworker and is very secretive about their messages, even deleting them now. Recently, I found a toiletry bag in his work bag with 2 toothbrushes, deodorant, cologne, and razors. Am I overthinking this, or is he cheating? Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.